America! This is Red Ho coming at you. We're going to talk about some funny stuff. You can laugh with me, just don't laugh at me. Alright, you can laugh at me too. So let's get started. Alright, so I have again with me old G-Top. Why don't you say hi, G-Top?
What up?
So, this time we are going to just do a bunch of random stuff. I'm trying to come up with things off the top of my head, but you know how things work there. But to start off with, we got the current events. Current events is the Sound of Music is currently on the way to getting everything ironed out and all the sets and the props and the costumes. And everything is
lights.
It's going fairly smooth.
Camera
Actually,
and action.
yes, exactly. So so in case you guys want to see it, here it is.
It's pretty fancy, isn't it?
And it actually had the dates on it, and I'm sure it's backwards, but you know, learn to read backwards.
I mean, I can do it, so you can too, right?
There you go. Hey, if G-Top can do it, anybody can do it. Alright, so here's how we're going to do this. I do have a few ideas down here that we're going to talk about, little topics, and hopefully we can make it as funny as we possibly can. So the first thing we wanted to talk about was, like, for example, kids today, how they are compared to in my generation, which is Gen X, and even the boomers, how they were totally different compared to kids nowadays. So, you know, the teaching of the kids back in the Gen X days, that was when things started to kind of slowly transition over from the way millennials are and boomers. So it's a kind of a mix of everything in between. Technology definitely had a lot to do with that as far as
Did you guys have
computing.
dinosaurs back then?
Oh, that's fucked up. I mean, that's messed up. No, we didn't have dinosaurs.
Obviously, but
We didn't have dinosaurs, okay? The alligator was still around.
okay.
Don't
we still have a couple of those?
Oh, yeah, I'm
like
sure
15, 25 of them.
Are a couple 100,000 or so, whatever.
But he doesn't know math, so.
I don't know math that well
Hey.
either, so hey, we're not going to count them one by one because I don't need to lose all my fingers. So, but long story short, we did not have
8,500.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good night. Yeah, did you use your toes too? How many fingers did you?
I only used my 12 fingers.
Okay. Good Lord. All right. So
okay.
So anyway, with the kids today, back in my day, as far as discipline and that kind of stuff, it was still in that transition stage where the mom would stay home and take care of the kids. But as time went on, later on, they started going into the workforce more and more. So the grandparents would do a lot of the babysitting and that kind of stuff. And then, of course, daycare started getting really, really big. Mm-hmm. Technology was practically non-existent as far as at home. The internet was not available until the 90s. So, you know, I was around high school when the internet really started.
My phone is currently buzzing me. Sorry. Hey, what's up? Okay. Never mind.
Who was that?
You're good. My brother. Sorry.
So before we got rudely interrupted by his brother,
my brother.
We're going to continue on with this whole tech and that kind of stuff. So discipline back in the boomer days, and even before the boomer days, there were, you get a good old fashioned punch your butt whooping.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've gotten a couple of those.
Well, yeah. Even in your generation, there are a few of them that transition over, but not near as many.
Yeah.
So that actually reminds me of a story. My grandmother, I guess you could say, helped raise me mainly because like I was saying before, Mom was working, so she did all the babysitting and that kind of stuff after school and what have you. So, and she was very adamant about no swearing. She was very adamant about disciplining kids and that kind of stuff. So, I was a bit of a rebel rouser, but not to the extent where I got beatings all the time.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. Her favorite thing was the Switch. You ever heard of the Switch?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so
I've always had the backhand.
Oh, the backhand.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the Switch, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is a stick.
Yeah.
That's just cut down. You can use. I think there was like rose bushes. Make a pretty good whipping.
Okay.
Some Rose of Sharon. She had a lot of those, but it had it really can put a welt on you if you tried hard enough.
Yeah.
And one time I actually tried to. I told my grandma I was going to call DFS on her. This was in the early '90s. I heard about it in school and that kind of stuff.
DFS is now CPS, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. And my mom or my grandma actually told my dad about it. And my dad said, "Son, if you do call DFS on you, on me, on grandma, or whoever, I'm going to make sure they have a reason to send me to prison."
Ooh.
Yeah. And my dad, I wouldn't say scary,
Yeah.
but he was pretty stern. So, it's not somebody you want to mess with. So, but you were saying that, if you were smart enough, you'd get the whole backhand thing?
Yeah, I mean, it was for sure from at least... It stopped probably in between age 13 and 14. Because I knew somewhat of what I was doing and how to handle it or whatever.
Oh, I get you. Yeah. So in other words, the early on discipline is what really helped you be the type of person that you are today, basically.
Yeah.
And around 13 or 14, the adolescent days when usually most kids are the most rebellious.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, there was no technology, so we were outside all the time. Either we were playing ball, playing catch, digging dirt. I mentioned that in previous podcasts. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You don't see that a whole lot nowadays.
Oh no! All these kids now are glued to their phones and stuff,
Well,
their
and
tablets and their laptops.
A lot of adults are now too.
Yeah.
I mean, Gen Xers, that's what makes them the X factor, so to speak, is you'll get some of them that have a more tech type of thought process, so they will just constantly be on their phones and that kind of stuff. As everything progressed and smartphones and what have you, then they start on their phones. Guilty as charged, just to let you know.
For
where
sure.
the younger generation being already kind of immersed into it from the beginning.
Yeah. I feel like we were born into it.
Right. So they were more inept to do those things as opposed to going outside. So, as long as, and a lot of people were worried about how the workforce would be completely destroyed because all these millennials and that kind of stuff don't want to work. Well, it's not really that they don't want to work. It is that they, some of them were not trained growing up.
Yeah.
To do like the physical work. You still have those farm hands.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I grew up, I was baling hay at 13. So I was working a lot.
Yeah.
So that kind of gives you a good work ethic. Well, nowadays, I was just talking about that with somebody I work with now. They're switched a lot of stuff over to round bales as far as hay. So it makes things a lot easier.
Yeah.
There's more science involved than there used to be, even in my generation. So, as far as cropping and that kind of stuff, you used to have to disc it up before you put the seed down and sow. And nowadays they have a spray where they spray the seeds on there. And that kind of stuff. Core samples, I'm sure they had way back when too. I just didn't know enough about it to really care. But yeah, that but now they take core samples on a regular basis to see exactly what's in the ground and exactly what's needed for a specific type of crop.
Yeah.
So that way you know exactly what to plant, when to plant it, and it's not computer, but I'm sure computers have a lot to do with like the analyzing part. So yeah, it's a change, and if boomers and Gen Xers can kind of get that, keep an open mind with that kind of stuff, then everything will just kind of evolve naturally. And I believe because boomers said the same thing about Gen Xers when they were kids. You guys ain't gonna mount the squat. Well, that's not the case. Yeah. There's a lot of Gen Xers that are really not that great, but there are quite a few that still have that work ethic and still have that old school mentality in a manner of speaking. I like to consider myself to be one of them, but I'm sure opinions vary there. Laugh with me or laugh at me. Ha ha ha. So, all right. So, like, I work at Public Works.
Yeah.
And it is crazy how things happen throughout the day. Because one thing about Public Works that I've learned is that you pretty much get pooped on all day long.
Do you really?
And I'm not physically, okay?
Well, duh.
Now, we do have a sewer department, but, guys who run the trash routes, if they miss their trash can, or if somebody was to get their trash out late, right? They will call in and say, hey, you missed my trash. And it's like, did you have it out before the specific time? And they'll tell you, oh, yeah, I did. But then we have to go back and get it. Yeah. It's like crazy. Hell no. That kind of stuff kind of irks you. And of course, I
feel like there should be, sorry for interrupting.
Sure, no bad.
I feel like there should be like a set, I know there is a set time for like hours and stuff that the trash routes and every department that works for Public Works works. But, wow. You guys should count every time I say the word works. Because I just said it like 4 times. But
put in the works. Whatever.
But I feel like there should be like a set schedule, and if the citizens or the people that aren't working those set hours should comply with those set schedules, if that makes sense.
You might want to elaborate just a hair on that one, because if I understand it right, if you're talking about people who work night shifts have to adjust their trash pickup schedules so that way their trash will be out in time. Is that what you're referring to?
No, I'm saying like if there's a set schedule for when the trash picks up, then people should. I'm not trying to be like offensive or anything, but people should at least
have their trash out.
Have their trash out before or at that set time.
Right. Well, in this particular case, the ordinance says that the trash has to be out by 7 a.m. the day before, or 7 a.m. the day of.
Okay.
Because 7 a.m. is when we start work to go in to pick up the trash.
Yeah.
And then they can go through their route and the trash cart will be there. They can stop at each individual stop. If your cart's not there at that specific time, they move on. They're not going to stop and wait. Yeah. So that's where the conundrum comes in, because somebody's working nights. They're going to be asleep, so they're not going to have the trash out at 7 a.m. But if they plan accordingly, say before they go to work, put their trash out to the curb the night before, the way it is, 5 p.m., 7 a.m. is their window to have your cart out.
Yeah.
It just takes a matter of organization, I guess. Organize your time so that way okay, the day this trash goes out on this day.
Yeah.
And believe you me, it's never going to be fully fixed, because there are so many different people that are just completely, they're just different than unorganized, or they, for whatever reason, they're very forgetful. It could be a whole bunch of reasons.
Completely, totally different schedules than everybody else does.
Right. So we're talking somebody who has mid-shift, and, they work until like 7, 8 o'clock at night, and they don't, and they're tired. They want to go home, and they want to go to sleep.
They don't want to take out their trash.
Well, and they forget to take out their trash. It's very simple, and it's very easy. And, and Public Works does do their best to, work with these people. It's not like they're completely asinine about the whole thing. But, still yet, once or twice maybe, but every single week it is redundant and should be taken care of.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know if we're allowed to tell any dirty jokes on here, because I do have a dirty joke on here. So I'm going to leave that alone.
We might get demonetized.
Well, there is a, I guess some sort of a swearing ordinance or something on YouTube. So they kind of, frown on certain words.
Yeah.
So I'm going to not do that.
It's a funny one, though.
Yes, it is. It's actually very, very good. And, of course, if you actually want to hear that dirty joke, obviously I can't say that on here. But, shoot me something in the Facebook website. And we can, as long as I don't get in trouble, I don't care.
We can figure it out.
We might be able to just, type it in and, kind of dot out some of the specifics on those.
Yeah, like asterisk
certain
letters.
Words. Yeah. So we could probably do something like that. But to actually verbally say that kind of stuff on these things, we're restricted. So I'm going to leave that alone. Now, is there anything that you want to talk about? Any certain topics? Any, because I'm not sure what else.
Let's look at the list.
Well, that's just a small little list anyway, so we'll see what else we can come up with. Thumbing through.
Over files of papers.
I mean, because we can start doing, crazy stuff, because for those that don't know or haven't heard the Spotify version of this, which is still on Spotify, I did a few imitations and that kind of stuff, and the whole Good Day America stemmed from the Good Morning Vietnam. Robin Williams, it was an old film from the 80s, I believe it was, and Robin Williams, God rest his soul, he was my idol, I guess you could say, when it come to comedians. So he had a lot of crazy, just very spontaneous, very quick-witted, and you gotta love him.
Yeah.
You gotta love him. And, like the genie, it was crazy, because, I can be taught, he can be taught. That kind of stuff. Yeah. So, the whole...
I was taught.
I was taught. Sort of.
Kinda. Sort of.
All right.
But that's a different topic for another day.
Yeah, let's go ahead and just leave that alone.
Yeah.
All right. So, I'm trying to remember if any of the previous episodes that we've already done on Spotify was talking about my teenage years when, some of the stuff that I did in my teenage years. I never got away with anything with my dad. I mean, I started driving at 16, but before that, we had a 65 pickup truck. When I was 14, it was a 3-speed on a column.
Yeah. Stick
shift. I liked the truck. I wanted to drive. Keys were in it. I got off of the...
How old were you
off
at
the
this
bus,
time?
14.
Oh, okay.
So I got off the bus, and I saw it there. The keys were in it. I was like, okay, I'll just put it in reverse, back it up, drive, pull it forward, back and forth, back and forth.
Just in the driveway, back and forth.
Well, not even in the driveway. It was in the grass. So
and
I said, you know what? I can do that. Put it right back where it was. No one be the wiser.
Yeah, go back in the house and...
Exactly.
Not even...
Nobody would be the wiser. So I did that. Pulled it forward, backward, the whole nine. I turned it off. and the motor shut off.
Mm-hmm.
What I didn't know was that the battery didn't.
Oh.
Went inside.
Why didn't it?
The push button ignition switch was messed up. The ignition on it was messed up, so it shorted out, and it drained the battery.
Oof.
I didn't know that, but Dad came home because he was getting ready to change out the ignition switch. Tried to start it, couldn't start it. What the hell? He come in 10 minutes later. Son, did you just mess with the damn truck? I'm not going to lie to Dad.
Well, of course, yeah.
No, not going to lie to Dad. So I told him. I said, yeah, I started it up, pull it forward, pull it backwards. Well, you said you dumbass. Hopefully that's not a word that hopefully that's a word I'm allowed to say. But he said, you dumb butt. You just drained the battery because the ignition switch was bad. And now I have to go get the battery recharged. Oof, yeah, oof is right. He said luckily it was a new battery and he was able to charge it so it didn't cost him anything extra. I was like, golly. But,
I remember probably it was about 2-3 weeks into like actually having my license and driving to school and parking in the school parking lot for the first like couple weeks.
Sure.
And I was super excited. It was a foggy morning, and it was like early, so it was still like dark out. So I had my lights on, but I turned my truck off, and then I went into school, everything was fine, went through my day.
I already see how this is going.
Got to my truck, signed out of school, got to my truck. I was actually going to a haircut appointment because I had something going on that weekend.
Right.
And I tried to turn on my truck, and it did the...
Yeah. Wasn't completely dead. Yep.
No, yeah.
Gotcha.
But I left my lights on.
I knew it. I knew it.
So I had to sit there for probably 20-30 minutes just to charge my battery.
This is why I like working with you for this stuff, because you brought that up. Now I got a story.
Okay.
Now, I was 18 actually.
Yeah.
And I had a car. It was a 75 Malibu Classic. Only had 4,000 miles on it. It still had the original bias tires, so the tires were not, they were bad.
My truck still has...
Well, they're not biased, but the original tires.
Yeah. It's original.
So, they were doing some construction work on the parking lot, so we had to park across the street in the gravel. Well, my crazy bud, it rained like the day before, the day of, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, my crazy butt tried to drive into the dirt and then get out onto the street to go home. Yeah, that didn't work. Nope. It buried it all the way to the wheel wells. So a guy that I go to school with, he's like, well, I'll bring my 4x4 around. We'll hook it up, and we'll get you out.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I crawl underneath, and I get it hooked up, and he hooks it up to his, and we're trying to pull it out, can't pull it out. It was so bad that I didn't actually have it on the axle. I had it on, it was a brace on the bottom where the radiator doesn't sit on it, but it kind of protects the radiator.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we bent it a little bit. Not that big of a deal. Ended up calling a friend of mine, who his dad had a tow truck, so he was able to get me home. But yeah, it sat in that mud long enough for the muffler to rust out. So you know how you hear these old loud rumbling cars and that kind of stuff. I thought I was cool because the muffler on my car made a loud noise and that kind of stuff. Turns out that wasn't really a good idea.
Yeah, that's not good.
So Dad changed that out, changed out the tires, and he sold the car. I was like, what? To each their own. But that driving on those bias tires were terrible. And of course, I'm a speed demon. So we go around a curve, and you feel the whole back end of that car lean. Because the tires are not radial, so they don't have all that steel belt and that kind of stuff like these newer tires have. And I mean, you feel that thing leaning. And I'm like, well, I can't go around curves very fast, that's for sure. Oops.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I think that's going to be all the time that we have for today. We will definitely see you next month.
Absolutely.
After talking to a few people and sending out that little Good Day America intro on YouTube, there are some people that actually are interested in doing like a show with me and that kind of stuff. So if I get any of that kind of stuff straightened up, then we can go ahead and keep on doing with that. I'm not going to leave OG Top by the wayside. He's going to be sticking around for a while as well. So just keep all that kind of stuff in mind. Now remember, I'm going to put this plug in because I have been for the last couple months. Like I said, I'm involved in the Sound of Music. It's at the Perry Park Center. It's going to be July 18th, 19th, and 20th. And it's $10 a head. Once I get more information on how you can purchase those tickets ahead of time, then I will definitely let you know. Actually, you know what? I want to bring something up since we're talking about that. I am going to shave my beard for this.
Oh no.
For this play.
Oh no.
Trust me, I think I look pretty dang dumb without a beard. Or the goatee.
Oh no,
anyway.
I do.
But I know that in order to get in character the correct way, I'm not saying that no German, wears beard or have beards and that kind of stuff. They just, the character that I'm portraying is, former military, so he just didn't do the whole beard thing. So that's why I'm thinking, shave the beard, just to kind of give it a little bit more nostalgic, realistic kind of look. But
I still need to watch that movie. I'll probably do that tomorrow.
Well, okay, so the one with Carrie Underwood, no plug intended. The one with Carrie Underwood is the one that's more similar to the style that we're doing.
Okay.
Just to give you a heads up.
Okay.
Stay tuned. Listen to us the next time. If you like what you're hearing,
and seeing
now because we're on YouTube, hit us a like, subscribe. I am still doing this on Spotify as well, so that way you can listen to all the previous podcasts if you haven't done before. You can watch our ugly mugs on this broadcast here. And I thought you said you had stage fright.
Yeah.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. You lied.
I did tell him that before we started recording, but...
See? There you go. You lied to me.
I did lie to you.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody start laughing at it.
So, until next time, good day, America.